Delighted to be here to look at the Tinubu's inaugural speech. Like I said earlier, for people that we are calling us on the other part of the program, we are here now, and the opportunity has called for you to be here as well. Let's look at the inaugural speech and how it will better the lot of Nigerians. And in the studio this morning, we've been joined by Mr. Obi Meze. Mr. Obi Meze is a public affairs analyst. Good to have you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome to the studio. We also have Comrade Ozo Ekemeze. Ozo Ekemeze is also a public affairs analyst. You're welcome to the studio.
Very good morning, Maya, and members of the crew. It's a very pleasant morning. Join us to see what we have in today's discussion.
All right, yesterday, Nigerians, history was actually made yesterday in Nigeria as we had a new president with the exit of the old president. And of course, all the ceremony happened in Abuja yesterday. And the climax of the event was the inaugural speech by the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And this morning, I don't know, Ozo, what's your assessment of that inaugural speech?
Well, first of all, I thank Nigeria for their exhibition of sense of maturity, calmness, understanding to follow the rule of law. And Nigeria is the sovereign nation that are being governed by the supremacy of the Constitution. And what happened yesterday is that it's an annual, or what we call it, it's a rituals that happen every 4 years in Nigeria. So yesterday, Senator Ahmed Bola Tinubu was sworn in into the office of the president. In as much as there is still challenging of his the outcome of the election. I want to say it is hard time that Nigeria will understand. We are always after the product, not after the process. The process is more important.
Uzo, I think we'll still
so
get to that.
I'm coming to that. Okay. What actually happened yesterday in that inaugural speech by the president, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, I can't term it that it's a celebration of what do you call it, lies. In the sense that one of the things that I understand is the issue of subsidy removal. It's very, very good for the subsidy to be removed. The instance I'm talking about is that the framework which the subsidy should be removed, the template that the president has from over this subsidy, because once he mentioned it, once I announced it that day, yesterday, okay, everybody was in terms of, is it going to be true, or is it going to be just a kind of a theoretical work? Is it like yesterday, as soon as he made that announcement, my dear brothers and sisters, you go to Alausa, Ikeja, NNPC there is a queue. Some of the filling stations shut down to understand what is happening. So it is high time when we come to reality than to become into something that is going to be against sayings. You see, making an inaugural speech that has a content which is going to come into reality is what we're talking about. Okay, Nigeria has gone above making all these rhetorics. At the end of the day, it's not going to come into materiality. So what we're talking about is that it's not pronouncing subsidy removal. Okay, we're talking about what are the template of subsidy removal. Do you know that the external debt now is 56 point something trillion? Okay, the debt that have been services that even the MAO that brought this money to Nigeria are talking about there is a judgment, what do you call it, debt that President Muhammad Buhari said before he left. Okay, that he want to pass this into the Senate to approve for him to do what? Pay this debt. Who owns the debt? Who are the creditor of the debt? Talk about debtor of the debt. So what I'm talking about all these things is that I expect the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to have sat down, okay, and understand, is he, what is on the ground before making any pronouncement, so that it's not going to be, okay, something that you will say to please people at the moment. At the end of the day, you're not going to come into reality. So I call it a celebration of lies.
Obimeze, from your own point of view, could you please assess the inaugural speech for us?
I think it is one of the best presidential addresses that we have seen, possibly in the last 10 years or more. Very, very sober. And somber too. Sober and somber. He took the situation of the country, including the recent past of the elections, which he talked in passing, victory or no victory. That's mentioned. The only aspect of that victory or no victory that you may want to shoot at is where he said he won fairly. Then, and where he said that this is one of the best elections. We certainly don't think that was the best election. A lot of people will also, it's not in his place to say he won fairly. If the world hasn't said that, and if his fellow compatriots that he went into the elections with have not said so, it's not in his place. But it's a very, 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 it's one of the best inaugural, one of the best, not just inaugural, one of the best presidential addresses we have seen in recent times. Indeed, if there was any, how would I put it, downer I had yesterday, there was so much excitement, let's see what is going to happen, blah, 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 blah. It's that he came down, President Tinubu came down and tried to talk to the nation. I'm not saying it was high up before, but there was so much expectation about verbal fighting and all that in the runoff to yesterday from the elections. The election was campaigns were very hyper and so on and so forth. But what we saw and heard yesterday was beautiful. It's one thing to write such words. It's another thing to implement them, just like he implied in one of...
Yes, I think that's what comes to my mind. The inaugural speech that seems to be an offshoot of campaign promises being made by politicians in this nation. Now, my question is, do you think these promises will actually be met for the good of Nigerians?
I think so. I think so. The inaugural speech is actually based on 5 principles, which are very, very key, which he says are going to drive his administration. The first principle is that Nigeria will be impartially governed according to the Constitution and rule of law. Very important. The second principle is on security, that we shall defend the nation from terror and all forms of criminality. The third principle is that we shall remodel our economy to bring about growth and development through job creation, food security, and an era of extreme poverty. The fourth principle is in this administration, women and children will feature prominently. Okay, that may be one point that has not been as reverberating as the first 3. Then finally, he said the government, the fifth principle is that the government will continue to take proactive steps such as championing credit culture to discourage corruption while strengthening the effectiveness and efficiency of the various anti-corruption. This again, okay? Corruption is critical. Fighting corruption is critical. It's one of the challenges we've been trying to address, at least in the last 20 years. But then when people hear or read about this, they ask themselves, who is going to fight corruption? Is it a president that before getting here was so tainted with accusations, allegations of corruption that will now come and fight corruption that PMB could not fight in 8 years? Indeed, some people, there are speculations that corruption, if anything at all,
quadrupled between 2015 and 2023. And if PMB, who was known as the saint, couldn't do it, and but even got more embroiled with corruption allegations and so on and so forth, is it Tinubu?
And the question that will be in the minds of many Nigerians now is that this our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has been in power, so to speak, in quote, being the head of the APC over the years. He's been there, and we had all these problems that we had, and people might be thinking, how do we start trusting this man to do what he's saying or what he has said in his inaugural speech? Uzo.
Yeah, Manye, thank you very much. I continue to point something that is very clear. When we come to the facts on issue, let us discuss it robustly, okay? Because what I'm trying to say here is to analyze two things: the speech itself and the maker of the speech. These are two things that are involved. Like my colleague said here, okay, the speech is very, very lofty in style. You see, so it is something that even if you listen to it, you can even begin to shed tears. You see, now if Nigeria yesterday does not know whether to cry, to weep, or even to have a leave of a sound of relief, or even for them to become happy. These are things that we're talking about. Now, the speech itself, as he said, okay, he has pointed out 5 agendas, both in health, both in youth and women, both in the corruption, both in the what call it infrastructure. He has mentioned all these things. You see, many people has even become president, head of state, and also become president again. Like Obasanjo was head of state, okay, for 3 years. Later he became president for 8 years. Buhari, who left even office now, was also head of state and still become president. What have they achieved? These are what are talking to put in place. You see, people say that is it a water that is swallow an elephant, that the tortoise is trying just to, gang himself up. Is what I'm trying to say is that in issue of corruption, let us face this in clearly. The speech was okay. I still say that. Is it the maker? Is it what is the capacity, the competent for you to do this? You are fighting corruption. We are saying that the Code of Conduct Bureau Act says that you are going to declare your asset before you're being sworn in. Even Buhari, when he was handing over, what do you call it, on 26 of this month, when he making the conferring GCFR to the president, he said that all his ministers and all these things should declare the asset as going out. Okay, I want to ask, is it if that word corruption was in context of what Abala Minister says today, fine and good, we want to find corruption to stand still, but that particular process, you would have led it by example. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? You would have said, okay, my assets have been declared. They know the people that are going to be there, let them declare their own. Then we know that you are want to fight this corruption, fair and square. That is being competent and capacity. So what I'm trying to say, in effect, that Nigeria yesterday was watching. Because I thank them, we have been matured. This is not issue of whether you agree or you don't agree, okay? Certain things in area, you must have to play a sense of maturity because the whole world, okay, think that Nigeria will be balling. But I thank God that we play that maturity to tell the world that we are coming into an advanced stage, not for us to fight and bull ourselves in issue, where we have a better way to do what? Channel our grievances. So what I'm trying to say, in that speech, okay, remember that APC promised us last time that $1 is equals to going to be what? 1 naira. The president that was taking over here was in that particular promise that was made. I told you, my sister, that politicians are different from leaders. Nigeria has not produced leaders. What are producing is political, what they call it, leaders. Those who make promises and not having purpose. Those who have vision but not having mission. Those who think about next election but not next generation. Okay, what we're looking forward is that if we were in APC when this promise was made about 8 years ago, okay, and now the debt we are leaving ourselves, Buhari could not even leave $1 to 200 naira. It is now $1 to 750 naira. So he has fell us 750 times. That's what he stands. Okay, now the same our president now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was part of these particular promises then, and he could not achieve it in his party. is now taking over again. He said that I'm going to continue where Buhari stop. He said it. Where President Buhari stop is where I'm going to start. So what I'm trying to say, in effect, is that we call a spade a spade. You see, the area we are talking about is that unless that he starts to mean this particular thing that he said by being an exemplary leader now and declare his assets to the Code of Conduct Bureau, we know that corruption that he mentioned in inaugural speech will be feasible. Then, in terms of election that brought him to make the election reform, President Yar'Adua came up in his inaugural speech in 2007 and pleaded to Nigeria that please, the process that brought me into this power is flawed. And I promise you that please, I'm going to change it, bear with me. This is the area of we're talking about. So for my friend has said here that he mentioned about election being the most freest and credible election. It's not a celebration of lies. That was a celebration of lies. Okay? If he knows that the process that not brought you, I apologize to Nigeria. Yar'Adua did it in 2007. And everybody was very, very happy and swallowed his embers to follow him up.
All right. Now, on the issue of corruption again, let's look at that because that's part of the inaugural speech, what he said he's going to fight. Which other previous governments have also said they are going to fight, but at the end of the day.
May I, I will get to the issue of corruption. Okay. But that's not one of the most critical issues that come out of the inaugural speech. First and foremost, style. Government speak has been elevated to a very elegant styling.
How do you mean?
When you read that speech, you will free-flowing, all right, but a lot of thought went into it. Okay? And the style of governance that the president wants to run is his own style. And one of the things, because some of the points that are being made includes the possibility, introducing blame games and so on and so. If you notice, there was no blaming of anybody. He took responsibility. Okay. He took responsibility. So you are going to see a government that is completely different at the federal level than we have ever seen. Okay? Now, is he going to do what he said he will do? Yes, he will. Except when we get to the issue of corruption. I said we'll come to corruption. Is he going to do what he said he will do?
You seem to be very sure.
Yes, he will. Because you look at, as I read the speech, I look at Bola Tinubu of 1999. And I see the things he did in Lagos. Just before Bola Tinubu came in as governor of Lagos in 1999, Lagosians are giving up about life. I'm telling you. Lagos was completely upside down. A place like Oshodi, which is one of the biggest part of Lagos, and very important part of Lagos, was a no-go area. If you must pass through Oshodi, you budget the whole day. Traffic and all kinds of things. Then on Lagos Island, Isaleko area was another bedlam.
All right, let's see who's here before we go on. Hello?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello, good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he, like I said, he will do what he said he's going to do. And if you follow that speech and analyze it point by point, you will see. For instance, Honorable talked about fuel subsidy. Okay. Did you see how the fuel subsidy, part of the speech was couched? He didn't blame anybody. He just said that the budget he's inheriting does not include fuel subsidy.
Therefore, it stands removed.
Okay? So he wasn't blaming the government. He took responsibility when he says fuel subsidy goes. I don't know if you understand the point I'm making.
All right. Hello,
All right?
Hello, good morning. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I was talking on the point that he will walk his talk.
His talk.
Now, the area where I have a little challenge with is the question you actually asked me, corruption.
You know, now, you know something?
Yes.
All the governments we had previously,
yes.
they promised, you know, to fight corruption. And Bola Tinubu was prominent in the previous administration. And the corruption grew. And he's now coming out, you know, how do we trust him to fight this corruption?
Okay, I did say I reserve it, and that's why we're talking about it now. It is not just, you can't talk about APC. You can only judge him by Lagos and this new appointment.
Why can't we talk about APC's party?
Hold on, but Lagos, was Lagos corruption free? The answer is no. It wasn't. It still isn't. Indeed. There is this.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Yes. Hello, can I talk?
Yes, go ahead. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm
Welcome. From where?
I'm calling from Wakanda.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
This man is a part of problem of Nigeria. Please take him to let justice and go away. We don't want to hear from this rubbish is started. It's started rubbish from that place. Ask him to go away before the people will come and let him off that place. It's a stupid man.
Please mind the words you use on air, please. All right, I think, please, when you call here, there are some words you don't use on air. You don't call the president stupid. Please, when you call, no matter how angry you are, mind the words you use. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so Lagos is not corruption-free. Indeed, if people talk about corruption, people want to talk about corruption. Lagos is the major example that they cite. Okay? Now, so because of that, people are not likely to believe, even though people are not likely going to believe him. Okay? And this issue...
Sorry, as you're talking, we'll be picking calls. All right, go ahead.
Yes. People are not likely to believe him. It's going to be difficult to believe him. And he has to really come out and stand and will say, yes, the man has had his bath. Even a blind man can confirm it. So the issue of corruption is a serious issue for him as a person, first and foremost, apart from us as a nation. As a nation, corruption, we've been talking corruption in the last 20 years. And to some extent, and that must be one of the reasons that accounts for the anger of the...
Hello? Hello, please tune down the volume of your TV set.
What did you say?
Tune down the volume of your TV set, or you move away from it, please. All right, your name and your location, please.
My name is Prince Bayo. I'm staying in Bayelsa.
All right, Tayo, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Prince Bayo. I'm in Bayelsa.
All right, go ahead and talk. We can hear you.
The reason why I'm calling is that I just want to make some statement known to the Nigerians, we that claim to be Nigerians. If truly we have a mind of serving this country, we do not need to be biased in whatever we say concerning the president-elect Tinubu. There have been so many presidents running this country. So let's wait and see what he will do. Like what happened yesterday when he said the subsidy is gone. This morning on we are hearing that fuel price has risen. Those people that increase the price of the fuel are they trading Nigerians? Are they trading Nigerians? They are not Nigerians. They are not good Nigerians. They are the bad eggs in this country. Mm-hmm. They are the ones that is making things hard for the masses of this country. And that thing they did, it is not because of Buhari. They have forgotten the adage that says that when two elephants fight, the grass is suffered. So if they now increase the price of oil, is it because of Tinubu or because of who is the market? The thing will be hard for who is the market. That is to say, those people, the marketers, they are very wicked. They are not Nigerians.
All right, Tayo, thank you so much.
So for that reason, my brother, and one other thing I want to say is just we need to be very careful with whatever thing. If only they are Nigerians, we need to be straightforward. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you so much, Tayo, for your contribution. But talking about, I don't know, market forces, economies, we need to get economists here, to interpret that when prices, the determinants of price, rise in prices. All right, go on and conclude before we move over to...
let's take on this point, the point that he raised.
I thought you were saying something on corruption before we move to that.
Yes, okay. Now, Lagos worked well. Okay. It's still working well. It could do much better. But on balance, if you check most of the states since 1999, and he was the first governor under this dispensation, so he set the tone. Lagos has consistently done very well. Could still do better, we know. But in terms of transparency of accounting, which is this corruption that we'll talk about, Lagos has not been transparent. Okay? Lagos, there is hardly few issues in Lagos that you will raise that corruption does not look at you from the other side. Then, tried and tested. There is this information bill, public information bill. Lagos State has never respected it. Hello? Lagos State has never respected it, which means just leave us, we'll run our thing the way we want to run it. So there is a likelihood that too will be carried over to the presidency. Okay? You will see systems working. The economy will work better. Certainly. Economy will work much better.
All right, Suzo, I know you've been yearning to say something. No, we are talking of corruption and how, not just corruption, the inaugural speech, the current president has been in the previous administration, and we saw ourselves the way we saw ourselves. And what made you think, or make you think Nigerians are going to trust him, to do his talk?
Very well. Noye, I have already picked out 3 things in that particular inaugural speech, and I'll continue to say on that. 1 is corruption. 2 is the election that he mentioned that was judged as free and most fairest one. 3 is issue of subsidy. These are only 3 things I must have to concentrate here. Okay? Now, I want to disagree with my friend here that Tinubu did well in Lagos. I want to disagree that let us not be saying something that is not even factual, okay, without emphasis. You see, Lagos has been the federal capital of Nigeria for many years. I want to ask, is it Tinubu that built Lagos State University? Is it Tinubu that built Yaba Tech? Is it that brought University of Lagos? Is the person that constructed the 6 lanes that are going from Oshodi to Cotonou? Is it Bola Ahmed Tinubu that brought all these particular industries in Lagos? Lagos has been a federal capital, and the revenue that is generating, okay, is what it is to sustain themselves. So he came to power in 1999. You see, he decided to build strong men instead of strong institutions. That's why you see people like Fashola, who was his chief of staff, Usibanjo, who was his attorney general when he was the governor, you see, and even Ambode, who was also part of his cabinet when he was a governor. All these people came and did very well. It's for sure that did Lagos. To the extent, Ambode did the flyovers in Lagos. Go to, what do you call it, in Ikeja, and see what the man has done there. So when you think about Ahmed Tinubu did what? Is it a parameter that for you to judge that the Lagosians are happy with him? Okay, we have Calabar as the first capital of Nigeria. He lost election there. You have Lagos as second capital of Nigeria. He lost election there. You have Abuja as third capital of Nigeria. He lost election there. You are telling me that he has done well in Lagos, that Lagosians are happy. Is he building MC Olomo, that people that are making talks and
so
all
in
these
essence, are you saying Nigerians cannot trust him?
Nigerians cannot trust him. What he's doing, what I'm trying to say is that in issue of building Lagos, he did not build Lagos. Let us first on emphasis. Is he? Now, coming to the issue of corruption, my dear sisters and brothers, is he? Corruption has become endemic. It has become pandemic, turning into epidemic in Nigeria. That everybody, okay, is even seeing that corruption as a part of a windfall. Tinubu came into a place where the party make a promise. All of us here are Christian, and Bible warns us that beware of those who clamor for change in Proverbs chapter 24 verse 22. That their calamity will come to them unaware. So now, when we talk about Tinubu promising us that is going to fight corruption, to stand still. You see, what are the premises? Is going to fight corruption, why himself is corrupt. Let me just tell you, my sister, okay, all of us that are here. Bible said that these people will come and promise you liberty, but them themselves are servants of corruption. How can you promise us? Why that? I ask you a simple question. Have you declared your asset as code of conduct brew? You didn't do that. Constitution, who is the which is the what do you call it, the spring commander? I said that we have 2 commanders in Nigeria. We were commander-in-chief. From yesterday, Ahmed Bola Tinubu has become commander-in-chief. Spring commander is the Constitution of Nigeria 1999 as amended. Spring commander is more than commander-in-chief. So commander-in-chief is under spring commander. And that's why it's commander of commanders. And that's why everybody is under the supremacy of constitution, which is the rule of law. Okay, that rule of law is, do you follow it? Rule of law means that before you've been sworn into an office, you must submit, you declare your assets. Did he do that? 1. 2, you talk about the election. I told you that the person that was president before declared that the election that brought him to the press was flawed.
All right, let's see this here.
To Nigeria. But what happened to Ahmed Bola Tinubu is arrogant of failure. You came to tell us that the election that brought you was fair and credible. Can't you apologize to Nigeria as Yar'Adua did? Are you more intelligent than Yar'Adua, who did it? They even know that Obasanjo was the person that conducted the election in that particular time. But this man stood and said it was flawed, and Nigeria was happy with him. First of all, appease Nigeria, because you know that the process is very, very important than product. We always about product. I'm not here to talk about product. Whether you like, let anybody, even if from any village, become president. I'm talking about the process that brings the person to that particular place must be excellent. So you can be able to be an excellent person. If not, okay, you have to now make an appease to people. Please admit it, because somebody cannot go and steal. Rob people in Aroma here, carry the car, go to Onitsha and take the car, and taking women from Osanja Market down to Oka free of charge. All of you will say, okay, no problem. He's servicing people now. Look at these women that are stranded, taking them home. But it's a stolen car. Let us face the reality.
All right. Now, we know what has happened over the years in Nigeria when it comes to tribalism and nepotism and dividing, religion and whatever. And part of what the Bola Ahmed Tinubu's inaugural speech says that is going to be, president for everybody. Do you think this could be achieved, seeing the level of damage already done in the nation in terms of tribalism, divisions amongst us?
It can be achieved, and I believe it will. This administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu may likely go a very long way in addressing the issues of tribalism, considering the tribal challenges they had on February 25.
Part of the reason I asked this question, I'm particular about it, is that during the press review, somebody called from outside the country. Somebody called, and the person was hammering on bringing everybody together. It would have been so, wide apart in division.
The nation is actually not wide apart. It is the elites, the politicians, that pretend to divide us. Okay? The masses of this country are together. They don't give a damn whether you're outside, you're Fulani or whatever. It is most of these times when you have issues of tribalism come up, it is not the masses themselves. It is one politician or the other, or political group. Okay? When the people who are making these statements about will Bola Tinubu run the administration for Nigerians, they are looking at appointments.
Okay.
First and foremost, appointment of ministers is governed by the Constitution.
But they should, because the previous administration was one-sided in the appointments.
Yes, it is in the other appointments, not in ministerial appointments. Okay. Even though in ministerial appointments, you could also manipulate by giving people from certain areas juicy, in quotes, juicier ministries than others. In terms of juicier or non-juicy ministry, I can assure you from what I have seen and from this inaugural address, President Tinubu will make sure that people get portfolios where they can deliver. You will have round pegs in round holes, square pegs in square holes. Okay. He is also likely going to ensure federal spread in terms of powerful positions. But my question, which is the question that I always raise, is that, yes, because...
Can you hold that question? Let's see who is there. Hello?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. From where?
From Kwara State, Ofa.
Okay.
All right, Ofa. Welcome. What's your name?
I really appreciate the old man that spoke, but the other one you go down. The dealer is one. The letter is clear and clear.
What's your name, please?
My name is Tajuddin Abdulsalam.
Okay, Tajuddin. All right, go on.
I like the other woman who is in black. If I could get to my like him. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, go ahead.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. People usually think that because an Hausa man or a Fulani man has been appointed into cabinet, or let's say a man from Oka has been appointed into Soludo's government, for the sake of this example, it means that Oka, North and South, Anambra Central has representation. On paper, yes, because their son has been appointed. The question is, what kind of a man is your son that has been appointed into that government? And from what we have seen, most of them, when he gets there, it is for himself and his umuna. That is himself and his family. Sometimes if he doesn't even get, sorry, forgive me. Sometimes he doesn't even get to the family. It is all about him and his friends. So that for me is not a promotion of diversity.
All right, the program is still Good Morning, Anambra, looking at Tinubu's inaugural speech. We're going to take a short break here, a very short break. When we return, we'll look at some other issues before we wrap up the show. Thank you so much for being there. We'll be right back. Ndi Anambra, una apụtagola?
Ibolachi.
Good morning, Ndi Anambra.
Welcome to Good Morning Anambra Breakfast TV show on ABS TV.
Bia Kaido Kwa.
We serve it sizzling hot.
Health and lifestyle. Security. Topical issues.
National development.
Entertainment and more.
Welcome to the flagship show where we arm you with the right tools for the day.
Keeping you abreast with happenings and information within and beyond the state.
There are so many things to gain staying tuned to Good Morning Anambra on ABS TV.
Good Morning Anambra, live on ABS Television, weekdays 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
You're welcome back to the studio, and we've been looking at the inaugural speech of the president, the new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was inaugurated yesterday. Now, Ozo, I don't know. We know that there is nothing without challenge. What challenges do you think our president is going to have, especially in the execution of his promises made in the inaugural speech?
Thank you very much. Before I go into that, I want to rephrase, okay, what my colleague said here, that what Bola Ahmed Tinubu said that is going to do them. You see, our people say that a chick that are going to become a cock will start from its antis and wits. Now, people are working in okay? I want to ask the campaign council of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, how many people that from the south and southeast that we are here? Talk about tribalism and nepotism, okay? Transition committee, how many people that are from south and south that are there? None, okay? Now, you see, the problem we have is that, look at somebody that called from Ofa, because he's a Yoruba person, for being 24 years in power, okay? And other people 24 years in power, it's not equity. It's until you want to fight tribalism, as Bola Ahmed said in the inaugural speech, that there will be no tribalism, there will be no sentiment of all these things, until we come to equity, justice, and fairness. When you talk about justice, I'm coming. When you talk about justice, okay, is this thing you're doing, is it justifiable? My dear, remember about Emilio, that is my turn. Is it justifiable? I want to ask you this question here, because talk about not being tribalistic. If you know that it is justifiable, okay, for you to take and continue to take, and that person will not take, and you said that all of us are one Nigeria, and challenging the person that is calling from afar, and you that also that are here that saying that this man will deliver all this particular promise. Why he started from even before he become president has not even done that. You see, then coming to the issue of what I talk about challenges that is going to have, okay, there's enormous challenges, okay. It's not easy, the head that wear the crown, and a crown, okay, that is a crown is not fit in a king's head that are getting by dishonor, okay. Now, challenges that is going to have is that Nigeria, the debt that I left before him, debt that I left for about 56 trillion is already debt. Then judgment debt, and that President Muhammad said that Buhari said that they're going to now pass for him to pay. Okay, we are going to get that money to pay. You see, two, okay, nobody is completely or perfect in health, but Bola Ahmed Tinubu have health challenges. You can see yesterday he was even guiding, holding him on the waist, drawing him up and down. Is it what I'm going to see? It's not an answer before the international community that somebody cannot stand even to sign the oath of allegiance, and he was there making all these things. It's not to everybody's view. These are things that is going to face. So I think that a heady person is a wealthy nation. So a heady president is a wealthy nation. So let him just also take proper care of his health, because health is very, very important. Only do fit can able to lead. You see, so it is one of the challenges that is going to now have. Then coming to the issue of facing other issue of corruption. Those who you are going to bring in your cabinet are already in that system, knowing the ways of that corruption. Are you going to now come, okay, to go inside a village or an institution and pick somebody who has not even tested this power? Those people that are going to take this in is people that are already in that APC. Those people that are the cabals that even work during this election or have been in the office of the President Muhammad Buhari, former president, that are going to also make up his own cabinet. So I didn't see whatever that he said that is going to now deliver them, because I'm still talking about the process. Who know that even the court, because of corruption, Court of competent jurisdiction.
All right, let's see.
Run away.
Let's see. Hello. Oh, all right.
Court of competent jurisdiction ran away to give hearing to people that brought suit. It was on Friday, and by section 1, sub 2 of 1999 Constitution, nobody will assume to govern this country without in accordance with the constitutional provision of this particular nation. So that's why some people are saying, like Tinubu, I'm not part of that, say that he's not my president, it's not on this, those are critics. Most of them have said that he's not his president. And even the lawyer that went to the court are agreeing on that.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Please move away from your TV set. Move away from your TV set. Please, in case you want to call, though our time is fast spent.
Finally, challenges is going to have to talk about security, because security has become a business where people now will now take it that yes, some people are benefiting for that insecurity in Nigeria, because he continued to follow the pattern of the former president, Mother Buhari, who fight insecurity by what he call kinetic method, instead of you bringing what he call center of gravitational method. That is who are the sponsors, where these people come from, where they go after attack, so you can able to get them. But if you don't using kinetic, you see, you cannot get much result, as we're having now in Nigeria, that all borders are porous. A lot of people are coming in and going out, and every day people are cleaning Kaduna. Look at what happened in Benue State. People are massacred, okay, and give a mass burial. So insecurity has become a primary purpose that every president in this country should work upon, because the factors that make a failed nation is: 1, when you no longer control your territory; 2, when you no longer control your economy. Nigeria territory cannot be no longer controlled. 2, economy is collapsed because you have a lot of external and internal debt that we are going to now even pay, until person who have the capacity and competence and capability to channel this resources into this particular place, then we have a very revamped nation.
Hello. Good morning. All right, Meze, let me come to you as we wrap up the show. You know, challenges are enormous, and we know it's everywhere. Everybody faces challenges on a daily basis. You know, in what ways do you think we can harness what we have, or what he said he can do to surmount these challenges?
Yeah, thank you very much for recognizing that challenges are there for every individual, let alone nations. He also said that in his speech. He knew the challenges. He knew about the resilience of Nigerians. And then he also knew about his own personal resilience, and that's why he took up. He asked for your vote, and today he's our president. In answering the question, I'd like to link it up with one of the first points that Honorable made when he talked about leadership. And he also came back to it a few minutes ago. Bola Tinubu is a leader. He has proven it, both in his governorship of Lagos, his national leadership of APC, and then in the campaign. For instance, one of the points that Honorable made towards in his closing bit is that what happened to the presidential campaign council. As far back as the year 2020, I have a blog that I run, and as far back as the year 2020, I had given this election to Bola Tinubu. I wrote a cover story, and I said Tinubu is winning this election come 2023. A lot of people didn't like it. And after I won, I wrote a reminder. We told you so.
All right, let's see who's here before we talk. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Quickly, what's your name? All right.
My name is Pastor from Nasarawa.
Okay, Pastor, go ahead. Quickly, we don't have time.
Yes. My name is Pastor. So the point I'm saying, whatever the honorable is saying now and this person, does he have to the present situation? The present situation is that just like the woman that was pregnant, gets to marry, and you will not ask him to perform why he is delivering process of election. We pray system for everybody to pray. We didn't have time to do ticket, and at the end of the day, they are here. All what I'm telling the honorable and the panel is that it's that and within you are going to bring something that I said, okay, now it's my head, now I fall and put my the idea that Tinubu is an old man because when he doesn't let he can pay for it, he pays for it. They give him what to do. Let him learn from that he will not be able to do it. If he begins to take it, allow him to make himself pay. So that is my own lesson because all of us, he will not run away from it. But begin not to make a list of his medical expenditure when he starts falling. You know? But the former president, the West, so nobody will go out again. He has built a hospital. They begin to know about that. So nobody will have anything to go out. So what is just so let's all be happy by prayer because I think for work, he has nothing. Let us do what you feel and other against the
All right. Thank you very much. Quickly, our time is fast spent. Quickly, before we go, you're talking about the ways to, surmount the challenges. Quickly before.
But Tinubu, President Tinubu has proven to be a highly strategic person. He's a master of strategy. Okay, you saw that what he gave to us in the inaugural speech is like he said, the broad outline of what he's going to focus on, which is the 5 principles. As we speak, that's why I call him a leader. He's not the one, like people talk about health and so on. He's not the one who's going to sit down. He's able to identify talent. He has identified the talents who will work with him. Okay? There may not be ministers, there could be ministers, but some of them could be ministers, but most of them will be people that will not have titles, that you might not even see, but who are busy addressing the issues. Finally. Yes, addressing the issues that the president wants addressed. I believe that, yes, with President Bola Tinubu, and the way he has shown that he wants to go from the inaugural speech, yes, we will ride our challenges.
All right, let's keep our fingers crossed as we await the drums are rolled up for the president to do what he has said he will do. We keep our fingers crossed. I would like to thank you so much, Obi Meze, for
thank you very much for having me
in Anambra today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, Comrade Ozo, for being here this morning. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. The biggest challenge that is facing Tinubu is the cases in the court. That's the challenge that for him to all
right, and our callers, we are sorry we can no longer pick calls because our time is fast spent, and this is where we draw the curtain on Good Morning Anambra show for today. Thanking you so much for being a part of it. And our callers from all over Nigeria, we appreciate you. Let's do this again tomorrow. Bye for now.